Are you ready to dive into the mysteries of the unknown? Tune into the electrifying X Zone radio TV show hosted by the one and only Rob McConnell.
I'm Rob McConnell, and get ready for a mind-bending journey through the unexplained phenomenon that surrounds us all. From UFO encounters to cryptids, ghosts, and everything in between, we've got it covered here in the X Zone.
Rob McConnell, the seasoned investigator and renowned radio personality, brings you the most compelling interviews with top experts, authors, and experiencers from around the world. Each episode is an unforgettable exploration into the depths of the extraordinary.
That's right, X Zone Nation. Join me every week as we open the door to the supernatural and explore the strange and amazing stories that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew.
And it's not just radio anymore. With our groundbreaking TV show, you can now witness the sessions unfold right before your eyes. From chilling reenactments to captivating visuals, prepare yourself for a multimedia experience like never before.
With a legacy spanning over 2 decades, the X Zone Radio and TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, is your ultimate source for mind-blowing entertainment and thought-provoking discussions. Join our growing community of truth seekers as we continue to unlock the world's mysteries.
So, why wait? Step into the X Zone and embark on a journey that will challenge your beliefs, ignite your curiosity, and keep you on the edge of your seat.
Remember, X Zone Nation, the truth is out there, and it's waiting for you right here on the X Zone Radio and TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell. Don't miss a minute of the action.
Tune in now on your favorite radio station or visit xzoneradiotv.com to join the adventure. The X Zone Radio TV show with Rob McConnell, where reality meets the unknown.
The X Zone Radio TV show, unraveling the secrets of the universe, one episode at a time. For more information, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com.
Are you ready for a tale that will leave you on the edge of your seat? Get ready to dive into the gripping memoir by Bart Sibrel titled Moon Man. Bart Sibrel takes you on a heart-pounding journey, unmasking the truth behind America's famous Apollo missions. Prepare yourself for hair-raising encounters with agents from the U.S. government's top-secret agencies. In Moon Man, Sibrel fearlessly reveals his real-life espionage adventures, shining a light on one of the CIA's best-kept secrets. Brace yourself for shocking revelations, including Sibrel's discovery of privately recorded audio exposing an Apollo astronaut's chilling plot, a plot orchestrated by the CIA. That's right, as Sibrel unveils this groundbreaking evidence, it becomes clear that there is much more to the Apollo missions than meets the eye. Could it be that we've been deceived all along? Moon Man is a gripping page-turner that challenges everything you thought you knew. It's a mind-bending journey into the unknown, where the line between truth and fiction becomes blurred. Don't miss this opportunity to uncover the secrets hidden for decades. Let your curiosity guide you as you join Bart Sibrel on his quest to find the truth. Moon Man, available now at Sibrel.com. That's Sibrel.com. Prepare to have your beliefs shaken to the very core.
Former insiders, abductees take the stage. Personal encounters, they turn the page. In the X Zone, we're grooving through the stars.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of tonight's show. My special guest and my good friend all the way from New York City, that I've had the pleasure of knowing for 25 years plus now, is a man who walks 8 miles every day. 8 miles. How do you do it?
Well, it's my revenge against spending 15 years in bed sick, and it's my revenge against the 3 health problems I've had this year. I nearly died of COVID. Then I slipped and shattered my elbow. I slipped on snow, and what was the third one? My gorgeous Asian house guest brought in a case of Nova virus, and so I had 3 big smacks this year. And my big smack back is to be walking 8 miles a day.
Good for you.
And doing 140 push-ups despite the metal in my elbow.
You always have to rub in those push-ups, don't you, buddy? That's what good friends are for. Before we went to the break, we were talking about your, we talked about you with John Mellencamp. We talked about Michael, and I could see the love and hear the love in your voice, and that is something so special that very few people ever get to see and
Well,
ever get to feel. So I'm
well,
so happy for you. You deserve it because you've given so much all throughout your life, Howard. You deserve it, my man.
well, I came from science and I was accepted by people in a whole different world, the people of the rock and roll world. Um, and some of them turned out to be in touch with what Peter Townsend of The Who used to call the Godhead. One of them was John Mellencamp. The, when I was one day driving my rental car in LA down Sunset Boulevard, and a piece of music came on the radio that was so stunning that I literally could not drive. It grabbed my whole soul. So I had to pull over as fast as I could and just sit there listening to the music. And it was a song called Hurt So Good by,
Oh,
by a person named John Mellencamp.
yeah.
And about 3 months later, a representative from his management firm came to me and said they wanted me to handle him. And I said, you have to know something. If you think I'm going to fashion an artificial mask and then sit here like a guy in a check suit with his cigar in his hand, saying, "We're this image, kid. I'm going to make you a star,"
You crack
then
up.
you come to the wrong place, and I'll get you an appointment with my best competitor within 2 hours. Um, if you're going to work with me, you have to understand that music is not about an exchange of pieces of plastic. It is not about an exchange of money. It is not about an exchange of downloads. It's an exchange of human souls.
That's true.
And if you hire me, look, every day your artist, every time your artist has to write a lyric and he's on deadline for his next album, he sits there in front of a blank piece of paper or a blank computer screen and he wonders how he can possibly write a lyric. He knows he really didn't write all those lyrics he wrote in the past. He's not capable of it. And 2 hours later, there's a lyric in front of him. My job is to find the gods inside of him who wrote that lyric for him. When he goes on stage and he sees the audience's eyes widen as he's performing, and he feels the whole audience congeal like a giant amoeba and send a pseudopod like a pipe out to him, and that energy from that entire audience goes through him as if he were an empty pipe to his head, and somewhere up there is utterly transmogrified and sent back to the audience in his next move. And it's a continuous feedback loop. And he feels as if he's on the ceiling watching all of this take place and is being danced by something that isn't really him. My job is to find those gods that danced your artist on stage. So I'm going to spend 6 weeks studying everything that's ever been written about him, everything he's ever written, every album cover he's ever put out, everything he's ever done. And then I'm going to insist that I come out and see this artist in his own environment, an environment that reflects him, and without any intercessors, without any wives, any managers, any assistants, nobody in that room but me and him. My job is to find the soul that does these things. And if you can accept that, I'll work with you. If you can't accept that, I won't. So the manager went back to John, or he went back to his boss, actually. And his boss said, no, absolutely not. And then he took it to John. And John said, well, if that's the way he does things, let's try it. And it worked. It worked. And 2 years later, John called me. He very seldom called me directly. He called me and he said, I have a problem. Heinz Ketchup is doing a new campaign emphasizing the fact that you can't get that damn ketchup out of the damn bottle. You turn it upside down, you hit it with your spoon, you hit it with your knife, you shake it and shake it and shake it. And it goes up. So they had used Carly Simon's Anticipation.
Oh, I remember that spot.
Right. It was very memorable. It was well done. And now they want Hurt So Good. And they're offering me $1.25 million, which at that point today is pocket change in Hollywood and in the music industry. But back then, that was big money.
I'm in the wrong business.
So I said, John, look, what do you want to be doing 15 years from now? Do you want to be collecting the interest on your investments, or do you want to be in front of an audience singing? And John said, I want to be in front of an audience singing. So I said, okay, you have to turn down the $1.25 million. And here's why. Imagine the city of Jerusalem in the old days with its very high walls and its very narrow gate to get into the city. And the big guys in Jerusalem, the ones who are making all the money, who happen to be, by the way, real estate investors back then, are having dinner parties. And you are out in the desert after the gates have closed, all by yourself, as small as can possibly be. And you raise your fist to that closed city and you say, I have a right to exist. I have an identity. When you do that, you are doing that for millions of kids all over the world. If you take that ketchup commercial money, you will walk through the gates into the city and you'll be one of those having the dinner parties. You will lose your authenticity and you will lose what you are doing for your audience, which is the very root and soul of who you are. So you have to turn down the ketchup commercial. John turned down the ketchup commercial and he lost his manager. His manager quit over it. But he was so big that it didn't matter. I got him together with Tommy Mottola, which turned out to be a very bad relationship. Nonetheless,
we're going to have a cliffhanger here, my friend.
Right.
Exonation, the one and only Howard Bloom. His website, www.howardbloom.com. The name of his new book, The Case of the Sexual Cosmos, is available at amazon.com. Howard and I return on the other side of this break. So whatever you do, do not go away. And you're listening to us and watching us on the X-Zone Broadcast Network on Tuber, as well as listening to us being streamed around the world on Classic 1220 CFAJ AM right here in St. Catharines. Whatever you do, don't go away.
For answers, we reach for our dreams. Are we alone? Is there life? No chase. He asked for some cash and for parachutes too, then vanished in darkness like ghosts always do.
Welcome back. That is the Ballad of D.B. Cooper. Wow. Remember that, Howard?
Yes, absolutely. I love the music you're using, by the way.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Music has been part of your life, a very important part of your life. And, you know, I don't think many people realize, Howard, that you're the man behind the curtain when it comes to so many of the greats out there. Michael Jackson, John Mellencamp, Billy Joel, ZZ Top, Prince, and the list goes on and on and on. But you know, you were talking about the great disconnect before, and I remember, I guess you and I had been talking for about 3 years, and I asked you, you were my last guest on the show, and during the break I said, Howard, can you just stand by with me on the other side when I just want to talk to you for a few minutes? And you graciously said, sure, Rob. And I remember telling you that I always am on a high when I'm doing the show. Like, I live for this show. It's 35 years, going 36 years now. And I said, after the show, Howard, I get so depressed. I feel alone. And your answer was, that's because you're disconnected from your audience.
And I told you the tale.
Yeah.
And the tale that I often had to use with my artists is, once upon a time, Eric Clapton was really strung out on heroin. And first, George from the Beatles George Harrison tried to save him and couldn't. And he wrote a song about it, Montelli Moore, which is just a bunch of names of chocolates, which is what apparently you have a craving for when you're strung out on heroin. So Peter Townsend, the founder of The Who, came in. And Peter went to Eric and said, look, I know why you use drugs. You go on stage in front of an audience of 7,000 or 70,000 people, and for 70 minutes, the souls of 70,000 people are coursing through you as if you were an empty pipe. And they're reaching up to what he called the Godhead, and they're being transmogrified, and they're coming back down through you again. So you are filled with 70,000 souls for 65 to 70 minutes. And the instant you go behind the curtain and are separated from your audience, you are an empty pipe.
Yeah.
And it hurts so much that you have to fill it with heroin. And he got it. He got what the performing experience is about. You commune with your audience. Their souls fill you. It's as if you were a slack sail on a sailing ship, and suddenly the wind fills you out and makes you billow and makes you a power. And then when that wind is gone, when that audience is gone, in John Mellencamp's case, it was so painful that he looked like an empty husk for an hour. It took an hour for him to get his normal personality back. And it was a very painful hour. So we had to find a place in every dressing room where he could lock himself in for an hour with just his wife or just me or just somebody he trusted. And you saw, if you were me watching this, the painful process of John's hello, how are you, thank you very much, and how are you self return. So, but we are lucky to have that experience.
Yes.
We are lucky to have audiences that fill us with thousands of souls.
You know, I feel so blessed and honored, whether there's one listener or whether there are millions. I don't want to let anybody down. And the main drive behind this show, Howard, for all the years I've been doing it, is to make one change, one good change in somebody's life during the time I'm on air. And when I've had the pleasure of meeting some of my listeners when I do the live remotes, I can't explain the feeling I have of gratitude to each and every one of them, because they don't have to be listening to me. They don't have to do anything they don't want to do. So that's why it's very important for me to give 150%. And you're right, that disconnect at the end of the night is like an empty tube. Fortunately for me, at the end of the night, when I leave the studio, I get in the car and I take a drive home. I stop at Tim Hortons, grab myself a coffee or a hot chocolate, come home. Our little dog Sophie meets me at the door.
Terrific.
And then we go sit in the living room in the dark, looking out over the landscape and looking at the lights of the city of Toronto across the lake. And I say to myself each and every night, I am blessed. I am truly blessed. I've got a wonderful wife. I've got 6 kids. They're each and every one of them are dear to me. The grandchildren, great-grandchildren. My dad, God bless him, he turned 97 a couple of days ago.
Astonishing.
And, I've got so much to be thankful for. But it just doesn't stop. Like you always wonder, what can you do that's better? How can we better help people? It's part of the life that I love. And it's because of people like you, Howard, who understand and who mentor. That one telephone call that we had so many years ago where you taught me the lesson of the disconnect, that was one of the most awe-inspiring moments in my life.
That's astonishing, Rob.
So for that, my friend, amongst many other reasons that you and I know, I will always be grateful to you.
Well, I think we all live to make a difference in the lives of others. And because I used to wake up every day thinking, why am I even bothering to wake up?
Mm.
Nobody wants me for anything. I might as well just disappear. And I started to keep a list of the emails that I got once I started publishing my books.
Mm-hmm.
And just the emails that say, you changed my life. I was 16 years old. I was confused. I had no goal in life. And then I read and fill in the name of the book, The Lucifer Principle, The God Problem, The Global Brain. And it gave me a reason to live. And then I started getting letters 15 years later saying, I picked up one of your books when I was 16 and I didn't know what I was living for. And all of a sudden, I had a purpose in life. And your book has been organizing my life ever since. And I'm now 35. So those are the things that we live for. But sometimes when you're down, you can't remember those things. That's not what you remember. And you need somebody to pull you out of it. And the best way to do it is get on the phone with somebody that you're fond of, because it pulls you out of yourself. Even the audience of one does that.
That is so true. I remember one Sunday afternoon, I was doing something in the garage, and Laura comes running out, and she says, "Robbie, Robbie, Robbie," and I'm thinking, "My God, what's wrong?" She said, "I'm watching a ZZ Top special, and Howard Bloom is in it. You gotta come in and see it." What was it like working with ZZ Top?
It was a challenge, and challenges are good because that's when you're up against the bounds of possibility. And I enjoyed their stories, and the stories behind the songs. Billy Gibbons was very good to me. So was Dusty. The drummer was a little bit nasty to me, but hey, it gave me two good guys to be working for. But there was a challenge,
Yeah.
and their manager wanted them to be on a par with the Beatles. He wanted them to be able to tour the country and smash records established by the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. And he did it. He was brilliant, but they needed recognition for what they were doing. The Village Voice had come out with a headline saying ZZ Top has a sound like hammered shit. They were despised by the media.
Why?
And I had to change that. And I did. And so much so that I was named by the mayor of Houston the ambassador of Texas culture to the world. And I'm from Buffalo, New York, near you.
Yeah.
I'm not from Texas. And it was the same month that I was named the unofficial spokesman for the gay community coming out of the closet with disco music. If the mayor of Houston had known that, I don't think she'd have allowed me in her office.
Oh, it's crazy. We all bleed the same color blood. We all have the same physiology under the skin. So I'm not one for, passing judgment on other people on what their religion affiliations are or their sexual orientation. But when it comes to politics, boy,
Politics separates us.
yeah,
No question about it.
especially since President Trump has been in there, and the tariffs and the amount of pain he's causing on people. He's weaponized the Department of Justice. He's weaponized the FBI. Is he mentally sane?
He's mentally sane. It's just he is working toward a different goal than the rest of us. He has people he has admired for a long time, and they include Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong Un, dictators.
Adolf Hitler.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
I probably told you the story, but according to a friend of mine, an actor who was named the sexiest man alive in 1988 by People magazine, Harry Hamlin. Harry was friends with Donald's first wife, Ivana. And Ivana told him, look, you guys think that Donald doesn't read books. You're wrong.
I remember this story.
Yes, he has two books next to on his bedside table next to him at night, and he reads from one of them every night before he goes to sleep. And the two books were Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler and the collected speeches of Adolf Hitler. So Trump has wanted to have a dictatorship of his own for a long time, and he's wanted to be accepted by Vladimir Putin so badly that in, I think it was 2016, he had the Miss Universe pageant in Moscow and did everything in his power to get the attention of Vladimir Putin.
Stand by. We have to continue this on the other side of this break. A cliffhanger with my good friend Howard Bloom. His website, www.howardbloom.net. The brand new book that he has is entitled The Case of the Sexual Cosmos. All his books are available at amazon.com. Just type in Howard Bloom and everything is there. Do yourself a great favor. Buy his books. Also, they're great gifts, and people will tell you years later, thank you for that book that you got me by Howard Bloom. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
In darkness like ghosts always do. He said this ain't game. He sculpted in song, gave hope to the broken, made the quiet feel strong. Through decades of midnight, his questions would shine in the X zone of mystery, beyond space and time.
And welcome back, everyone. Howard.
Podcast, a husband stood tall beside Laura.
All right, there we go. Scared the hell out of myself that time. Hit the wrong button. It happens at times, doesn't it? Usually. Not by me, but welcome back, everyone. Howard Bloom is my special guest this hour. www.howardbloom.net. And before we get back to Howard, I'd just like to invite everybody to our brand new website. It's a news website called twat.com. No, not what you're thinking about, everyone. I could see Howard howling through my other monitor here. TWAT stands for, it's an appropriate title to go with A Case of the Sexual Cosmos. TWAT stands for The World Against Trump. And it's at www.twatnews.com. I write about 3 or 4 articles every day, post them there. It's free. Go there, read, have fun, share them with your friends. I also put them up on TikTok. I put them up on X. I feel that if it's good enough to think, it's good enough to say. And, like there's a lot of people that are just getting a bum deal from what's going on in the United States. And I've got a lot of friends and family in the US, and it bothers me to see them being deprived of their Medicare, their price of food has gone up, their price of fuel has gone up, the price of everything has gone up. And now there's so much unrest with what ICE is doing and how the president is weaponizing the Department of Justice as well as the FBI. And I just want it to end. There's a Constitution. It was written for a reason. And for the first time in history, you've got a president who is blatantly abusing his executive power and basically saying, I don't give a damn. I'm Donald J. Trump. Now, a lot of people say, well, Robbie's only got a couple more years there. Does he? If he only has a couple of more years there, why is he embedding all that gold into his Oval Office? Why is he building this ballroom attached to the White House? Why did he destroy the Rose Garden to have his own club there? Do you really think the guy that planned the insurrection attempt on January the 6th, 2021 has any intention of leaving? I don't think so, but that's just my opinion. So please do yourself a favor. Go to www.twatnews.com. That's TWETNEWS.com. Welcome back, Howard.
I loved your little monologue there
Yeah, no.
on the problems with living under Donald Trump. He believes he is the Constitution. He believes he is the law. He believes that an offense against him is an offense against the state. Um, and that's why he's beginning to attack Comey, and he will get around to Hillary Clinton eventually, and Schiff, um, and who else is on his hit list? There was one other person on the hit list he put
Me.
out. This, this twat news sounds wonderful to me. Um,
You should have seen the faces when I started promoting it. They said, you can't say that word. Why not? Well, you know what it means? I said, yeah, I know what it means. Obviously, you don't know what it means. It's
right,
the world against Trump.
right.
Yeah, no, I just get so frustrated seeing the pain and the misery. Look at the God bless the farmers. They work so hard, they get so little. And the politicians, I kind of say, and then I came up with a theory the other day, and because you live in New York City, I'd like to propose it to you. And I know you're
Okay,
a very honest person.
sounds good to me.
Okay. The other day, I believe it was Tuesday, the Secret Service came out with that. They had discovered this server room that had thousands of servers and all these
Sims,
cards, right?
right.
Okay. Now, a couple of days prior, President Trump came on air and he was bad mouthing the what's his name, Zorhan.
Oh, so yes, our Momdani,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
mayoral candidate who seems to be a shoe-in to win the race.
Now, my theory is that room was put there by Trump and administration so that they could thwart the election somehow.
Well, that's a reasonable supposition given the fact
Yeah.
that this president has no respect for elections and he got started the first month he came back into his second term in rigging the election so that nobody could win it but him. That is going on silently behind the curtain, and it's going on every single day. And in his first 2 months in office, he issued Trump 2028 hats.
I saw
And
those.
he's got some of his minions in Congress because Congress people and senators are no longer Congress people and senators. They are minions of Donald Trump. The Republican ones are.
Yeah.
And he's got his minions working on legislation on the national level that would rig the election. He has no intentions of leaving office whatsoever. And back in his first term, there was all kinds of evidence that he wanted to establish a dynasty like the Kim family dynasty. But it's just possible that his kids are making so much money off of his presidency. The estimate is $3.1 billion so far, that he wants to keep them there, scooping up the bucks. However, when he leaves office, there is a good chance that it won't be J.D. Vance who replaces him as a Republican candidate. It'll be one of his kids.
Right. In fact, Eric has gone on the social media platforms and said that that he is going to be the next Trump in line for the presidency. And
That's
I'm saying,
very
oh
interesting.
no, come on, America can't be that stupid to put another Trump in power.
We are stupid enough to have elected Trump.
Well, it's hard. Hindsight is 2020, right?
Right.
And when you look back and you say, yeah, you can do a lot of strange things when you're drunk on Jack Daniels and you're high on fentanyl. So
Right.
that's why I think there's so much fentanyl that was coming into the United States because the voters needed it in order to go to the polls and to vote.
Without gagging.
Without gagging, yeah. I like I said, I don't know how many times I'm going to apologize to you over my lifetime for this, but there was a time when I was pro-Trump, and I remember you and I would get into discussions, and the tariffs, the trade agreements that he signed and that he's breaking, and the misery and the harm that this man is in, with Robert Kennedy Jr. as the guy responsible for the health and well-being of the people of the United States. My God! And now now I guess I can't take Tylenol anymore when I've got a headache. But wait a minute, I'm up here in
You're
Texas.
not pregnant.
But now he's also looking into the abortion stuff.
Right.
And to me, what's going on right now in the United States is a diversionary tactic implemented and started by Trump because he's doing something on the other side of the sword. He doesn't talk anymore about the Ukraine situation unless he's pressed. The Epstein files, with all this stuff going on with Comey and what else he's doing, you don't hear about that. And then he calls the survivors liars. It was all made up. C- yeah, like, my God, if anybody's a liar, it's him. And what about the 7+ wars that he's brought to an end? And list on and on
Oh,
and on.
God. Yes. Amazing. Well, I agree with everything you've said. The Epstein problem, there is a woman who took him to court in 2016, I believe it was.
Mhm.
And she has a very, very detailed description of being raped at the age of 13 by Donald Trump under the auspices of Epstein.
Wow.
So that's what he's probably trying to hide.
Yeah, as a Canadian, I'm disgusted that the way he talked about our former prime minister, calling him a governor. Whether you're a liberal or a conservative, to me, respect is respect, you know. And then that he wanted to make us one of the states. Look what he tried to do to Greenland.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Well,
like,
his view of the world is, first of all, the club that he has wanted to join since probably most of his life. He has this Slavophilia. He loves Slavic cultures. So look at who he marries, Ivana and Melania, both from the Slavic world, what the Russians call the Ruski Mir, the world of Russia. And he took his Miss USA pageant, as I said before, to Russia, to Moscow deliberately in 2016. And I may have the date wrong. It may be 2013. But he planted himself there trying to get the attention of Donald Trump. I mean, of Vladimir Putin. It's hard to tell them apart. He had his first all expense paid trip paid for by Russia in the 1980s when he was still married with Ivana. He's had this obsession with Slavic culture, and it's particularly with Vladimir Putin. He offered to build a Trump Tower in Moscow and give Vladimir Putin the top 4 floors, give them to him, just to get Putin's attention. It didn't work. So he finally managed to ascend to the presidency of the United States, and that's what finally gave him access to Vladimir Putin. And, there's this phrase that came up in the 1950s because the communists were so good at manipulating Americans, called useful idiot. It's a person who does what you need doing without realizing what he's doing, but he does it for you. And Donald Trump is a useful idiot for China and Russia.
You and I have to take our final break, my good friend. Exonation. Howard Bloom is our special guest, www.howardbloom.com. He's the author of a great new book called The Case of the Sexual Cosmos. It's available at Amazon.com along with his other great books. We'll be back as we wrap up this show tonight here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening and watching us on the X Zone Broadcast Network, Tuber, and of course, our good friends at Classic 1220 CFAJ AM right here in St. Catharines. We'll be back. Don't go away.
He painted in sound begins to thrum, an echo of the wonders that from beyond have come. Celestial encounter.
Welcome back, everyone. My guest this hour is the one and only Howard Bloom, www.howardbloom.net. For all his books, and I'll tell you something, I've had the pleasure of reading them over the years. Visit his website, at howardbloom.com, but it's a great website. But to get his books,
howardbloom.net.
.net, oy vey. howardbloom.net and on amazon.com. Howard, when we look at what's going on in the world today and we look at the case of the sexual cosmos, how do they fare?
Well, the case of the sexual cosmos talks about the flamboyance with which nature creates. One of the forms of state that has been around in the evolution of massive human societies is the dictatorship. And nature tests societies by infecting them with ideas, ideas of how to structure a society. Right now, America seems to want to test what it's like to be a dictatorship. The difficulty is, if it does that, and it's doing it very rapidly right now under Donald Trump, it may never get its democracy back.
Oh boy.
And democracy in the world right now is competing with dictatorships, and the dictatorships of all things, despite all of their inequities, despite all of the misery they create in their citizens and in those they choose to pick on, like immigrants, they are on the rise right now, and democracies are falling. And that makes it doubly important for America to get back to the job of being the world's oldest constitutional democracy.
Well, what would happen hypothetically, Howard, if everyone in the world except the United States of America, because in our view, there's a problem there, and that problem is like a germ that is spreading, a disease that is spreading.
Cancer, metastasizing.
Right, and Israel is kind of in the shadow now of the United States with everything that Netanyahu is doing, and a lot of the countries, including Canada, the UK, and Australia, have recognized the state of Palestine. What would happen if the world, including all the countries that are democratic and their democracy, and Russia, North Korea, China, were to band together and say to President Trump, no more?
They're doing something even more insidious. They are basically getting Trump to destroy America. And China has wanted this for a long time because China wants to become what they call the hegemon, the one state that rules over all others. And China feels that that's its destiny because that's how it was in the Chinese view for the first 4,000, 4,500 years of Chinese culture. All the barbarians came to China. They were clearly barbarians. China was clearly the center of the world. They want that back, and Donald Trump is busy destroying America so they can have what they've dreamed of.
In your opinion, Howard, when President Trump met Vladimir Putin in Alaska, why wasn't the international warrant for Putin's arrest executed?
Because the United States is not a part of the treaties that create the world courts. And plus, look, Donald Trump has been working all of his life to get approval from Vladimir Putin. It took him winning the White House to get it. And he still admires Vladimir Putin as the biggest bully on earth. He wants to be part of the club of bullies.
But doesn't he realize that he is making himself look to be very stupid, that he's actually being played by these people?
No, he doesn't realize that. He thinks he is a solitary genius and that only he can fix things. And every fix is going to be another act of destruction for the United States. He's cutting our Achilles tendons. He's amputating things that are vital to America, like the farmers you talked of, who were selling soybeans to China and can't sell their soybeans anymore.
Is it my imagination, or am I misunderstanding the political views, that if the Democrats do not win the midterms, Trump wins hands down and he's got total control of the United States, then it's changed from the United States of America to the United States of anarchy?
The United States of Trump. or the Trump states.
The kingdom of Trump.
Yeah, the kingdom of Trump. So yes, we have that problem, and it's very, very, very serious.
Is that why he was so adamant about removing the immigrant population, because he couldn't chance their vote?
That's part of the thinking. But you need one of the things he learned from Adolf Hitler. You need somebody puny to pick on. You need somebody to pick on who can't fight back, because it is by telling your people who to hate that you galvanize your people together.
I wonder what that is. I have no idea.
Your smoke alarm.
No. I would get a red dot flashing on and off on this computer screen. I don't know what that is. So if you can stand it, I can stand
Yes,
it.
I can stand it, of course.
And to
Being with you
the
is an
explanation up
energizer.
there, I apologize for this this beeping noise. I'm sure it'll stop shortly. If not, I'll find out what it is to let you know. Also, this Charlie Kirk, what's it? Turnaround USA?
Right. Turning Point USA.
Turning Point. It seems that Charlie Kirk's organization was basically, in my opinion only, just my opinion, was like the Hitler Youth Group.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought. And so Charlie Kirk's becoming a martyr at the age of 32 is a great boon to Donald Trump and the Trump movement.
Huh.
Because it's another one of those primal things that galvanizes a people, having a martyr.
Is it conceivable that in order to make Charlie Kirk the martyr that he is, that he became a sacrificial lamb?
Yes. Look at Jesus.
Yeah.
He died at the age of 33, and it galvanized a movement so strong that despite the fact that that movement started out by claiming Jesus would arrive tomorrow, and then Jesus would arrive next week, and then Jesus would come back next year, despite all those false predictions, Christianity is the largest movement, the largest religion in the world today. That's the galvanizing power of things like having a scapegoat,
Right.
people so puny you can kick them around, and having a martyr.
So here we have the president who is weaponizing the FBI. He's weaponizing the Department of Justice, and the list goes on and on and on. But what he is also doing that people haven't caught on yet is he's also weaponizing the youth of America.
And one thing he will not use all those weaponized institutions and young people to do is stand up to Russia. Stand up to Russia. He made big statements this week about how Zelensky can win, because Zelensky did a very good job of doing what Putin had done in Alaska, and that is fascinating him, telling him stories, giving him facts he didn't know. But the fact is, he's not going to put another cent into saving Ukraine. He's worked out a deal. The Europeans will pay for American arms. So America will make money off of Ukraine's grief.
And so will Trump make money off of Ukraine's grief. If my memory serves me correct, and I'm being sarcastic here, he said that the first day that he was in the Oval Office, that the war in Russia, between Russia and the Ukraine, would be over.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Yep. And you'll notice that it's been over for 8 months now.
Yeah. Howard, we've got about 3 minutes left. What do you foresee in the future using your crystal Howard Bloom ball?
Well, unfortunately, I see dark things in the future because people haven't experienced the form of rapture that comes with utter submission before. That's another basic human quality. Like the emotions you and I go through when we go in front of an audience.
Right.
It's transformational. And that submission, that ecstasy of submission, is what we're all about to be exposed to all over the world. They're certainly being exposed to it now, in North Korea. They've been exposed to it for 70 years or more. And it's coming to the United States if we don't look out. And even if we do look out, we're going to have to do something, and I don't know what.
Let's say the Democrats get in during the midterm. They get back the House. They get back, I don't know if they're able to get back the Senate. They decide to have an impeachment hearing. Trump is impeached.
He won't leave the White House.
Yeah.
And the Justice Department will have to arrange for his arrest. Do you think that Pam Bondi is going to arrest Donald Trump?
Nope.
So there you go.
And I also think that that the people of the insurrection of January 6th are somewhere being trained.
Well,
just for that event.
He knows from Hitler that every dictator needs bully boys, people who will take to the streets and beat people up. Now he's found a superior way of doing it.
Yeah.
And that is using the military and using the private army he is building up, the Immigration Enforcement Administration, ICE.
Mm-hmm.
So he is rapidly turning this country into a military dictatorship.
Howard, as always, whenever you're with me, my friend, time goes by so fast. Thank you for spending 2 hours of your precious time with us tonight, Howard.
It's precious to me because it's with you.
Oh, God bless you, my friend. Let's do this again in the near future. Our door is always open. So please take care of yourself, safe travels, and keep up the great work. The world needs Howard Bloom.
Thanks, Rob.
You take care, Howard. Exo Nation, my guest this hour has been my good friend Howard Bloom, www.howardbloom.net. We started off talking about his new book called The Case of the Sexual Cosmos, and we covered quite a few topics, including talking about Billy Joel, Michael Jackson, John Mellencamp, and to name others. He is truly the most provocative thinker of our times, my friend Howard Bloom. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. So until tomorrow night, from everyone here to everyone out there, take care of yourself and always remember to keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.
Through the gauze of silence, they glide with grace unknown, shapes of light and shadows, in a dance that feels like home. The ground beneath us trembles, a power we can't. From Buffalo streets to the New York lights, a mind on fire burning so bright. He walked with legends hand in hand, Michael Jackson, John Mellencamp, Billy Joel sang